So MSNBC is plunging. CNN is plunging. They too are parting ways with some of their hosts. I don't think they're trying to sell the thing like this one is, but Joy Reid is going to be challenged because I'm sure she commands a pretty penny. And I don't know as the new owner is going to really want to pay it, nor are they really going to love that she keeps having people on TV that say things like this, like you should separate yourself from your family this Thanksgiving if they dare to vote for Trump.
Do you recommend, just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I actually talked to, adults as well as advising parents for children. I mean, I think, I don't think that you should force children. I don't think you should force adults to be around people just because they're your family. I think there's a level of need to establish boundaries. And if you feel like you need to establish boundaries with people, whether they're your family or not, I think you should very much be entitled to do so. And I think it may be essential for your mental health.
Yeah. So the network's going to be put up for sale because Comcast sees the handwriting on the wall. And, maybe they're not getting the big deals that they thought they were going to get. I don't know what Biden and Kamala and whoever might have been doing with them, but I don't think the revenue's coming in quite the way it was. Trump spotted this years ago. Here we go. Let's go back to 2020. Walk down memory lane when he gave Peter Alexander a piece of his mind.
Scared.
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead. I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Concast. Let me just, for whom you work, let me just tell you something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works. It might and it might not. I happen to feel good about it, but who knows? I've been right a lot. Let's see what happens.
So this was back in the day when they were just going after him with anything and everything they could, right? So Comcast, which owns MSNBC. Trump knows Brian Roberts well, the owner of Comcast, the guy who runs it, rather, I should say, the chairman. And he's kind of looked at it for years now as a thorn in his side. And I think that Brian Roberts is starting to see the same exact issue. And so now he's like, wait a second, we're going to go into the next 4 years of this. Don't forget Ron McDaniels, remember, who was head of the RNC until Lara came in. Well, they got her a job. Somebody got her a job over at NBC. But the Joy Reids of the world, the Chuck Todds of the world, the Lawrence O'Donnells of the world were like, no, we can't have a Trump person here. We can't have a Trump person here because we don't deal with Trump people, right? We're not going to go to Thanksgiving with Trump people. We're going to cut off our Trump supporting family members. I mean, these people are just nuts. But anyway, Trump wrote at the time when this happened, just not too long ago, the sick degenerates over at MSDNC are really running NBC, and there seems nothing Chairman Brian Roberts can do about it. That's probably true. Watching Chuck Todd, of all people, viciously give Roberts a piece of his small mind and then berating him for hiring Rana without his or the other lunatic's approval was just a step too far. So he's referring to Chuck Todd going after Brian Roberts when Ronna McDaniel was brought in as a contributor there to NBC. I mean, the inmates have literally taken over the asylum. And I think at this point, Brian Roberts is like, okay, I want to be done. Like, let me move on. It's a failing business anyway. It's a failing business because guess what? We're all over here. We're all over. I mean, it's amazing to me because I've worked in traditional media my entire career up until now. And, it's a very different feel, obviously, over here. It's more three-way because I get to see all your comments actually in real time. Careful what you write. We'll go out to those comments in a little bit. But it's a very different experience overall, much more authentic. I don't have to go to commercial breaks even. I mean, we have sponsors. I'll do the sponsor read, etc. But there's no kind of rules around what we're doing. This is the Wild West, and it's exciting and it's fun for me, I think for you. And the authenticity is very different than what you see on the cable platforms. And so streaming really is the future. I mean, content will always matter, always matter. But how you get that content, that's entirely different now. I don't have to go work for CNBC or Fox in order to reach all of you. I actually can reach you so much better right here. And there's something truly, truly liberating about that. So yeah, MSNBC is going to get sold. There's lots of good stuff, I think, coming forward. I mean, you're going to see a lot of M&A activity. You're going to see a boom within certain industries. Energy, for example, is part of that. The energy story, you know, I hope you took a look at Bitcoin. I know it's kind of scary. I know it's kind of scary because Bitcoin was something that a lot of you are not too fond about, and you maybe like gold better. I don't think it's an either or scenario, but we did tell you back on September 27th to look long and hard at Bitcoin because it was trading around 65,000. It's now at, well, it went all the way up to 93,500 today. It's totally volatile though, so I would caution you and just say, like, this is one where maybe it's, you have a teeny tiny bit, you buy into one of the ETFs, so you don't have to put over that much money. You can buy into an ETF. I think it's like $8 right now. So you can get one of those and have some exposure just for the heck of it. This is one of the things that we talk about in the Invest in MAGA guide. Invest in MAGA, investinmaga.com. Rob and I created this. It's totally free. I just want you to go there. I want you to have an understanding of what the opportunity really is right now. You're looking at the markets just on a tear. It's going to continue. This is my baby 76 research. You guys know I started this because I want more people, more Americans to be able to partake in the opportunity that's coming our way. So very, very exciting stuff. Listen, there's a lot, right? There's a lot to come. These cable networks, though, they're really challenged. So you've got the Joy Reids of the world that are on thin ice and may soon be fired for all the nonsense they're spouting. And then you got people like Joe Scarborough who were spouting nonsense as recently as last Monday. You know, you're somehow a Nazi if you're going to vote for Trump, all that good stuff. And now Joey Boy is like trying to become the reincarnation of Tucker Carlson, complete with the tie. He's now wearing a jacket on set instead of the sweatshirt. He's like Mr. Prim and Proper. I mean, this is like one giant 180.
Mayor, I mean, it is, again, the scope and scale of this victory is sweeping. And we can focus, by the way, we can focus on Donald Trump if we would like. But this goes so far beyond Donald Trump. Make no mistake, his victory, again, historic. But you look at Republicans across the nation. You look at how handily they're winning states. As Willie said, you look at Illinois, a 4-point margin. Illinois, a 5-point margin in New Jersey. This is a Democratic Party that has been just wiped out this morning.
Yeah, Republicans steamrolled. They have captured the Senate. The House still up for grabs, but those closest.
Yeah, so he's talking about also how they kind of went too far on the culture stuff. We've heard this from Carville as well. I believe it more from Carville, only because James Carville, who ran the Clinton campaign, has been in Democrat politics for decades. He actually was warning people about this ages ago. Joe Scarborough, on the other hand, just like drank the Kool-Aid yesterday, right? Like he's looking at the handwriting on the wall. He knows that Brian Roberts, his Comcast boss, is not too happy. He knows that the company may be sold. And he's not the only one suddenly changing their tune. I want to take you over to a show that we all hate. That would be The View. And take a look at what they're now saying. Here we go.
Welcome back. So it turns out every holiday season, political talk can be a tough topic to get into. But given the results of last week's election, Yale psychiatrist Dr. Amanda Calhoun suggested to Joy Reid that some people should sit this one out. Take a look.
There is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood, and it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood, and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me.
So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think everybody needs to do what's right for them. I think you need to look into yourself, and if going to a family gathering or with friends where it's going to stress you out, then don't go. I'll tell you, Al has 5 children.
Your husband.
My husband has 5 children. Most of them or their spouses voted for Trump. The problem is those 5 children have 13 grandchildren he refuses not to see and not to be part of their lives. And so for our family, I mean, he has told them, I will not let politics split up our family.
Good.
I voted for Kamala, others didn't. He is going to see his grandchildren come hell or high water. That's the choice that works for him.
I'm all for
Good.
healthy boundaries, but I tend to think mashed potatoes are the great equalizer. Like, you don't want to spend Thanksgiving by yourself because you can't set politics aside. Like, I find that every day in every job I've worked in social circles I've run in, I've been around people who have different politics than me, and it's never gotten in the way of having friendships with
I
them.
wouldn't have had
It
any-
simply hasn't. I wouldn't have had any friends.
I wouldn't have had any
Really?
friends if I had to only pick the ones where everyone agreed with me. And so now there are times,
Max
and
wouldn't be with you.
I check in with myself and say, am I up for this? Because I also know struggling with mental health, there are times I'm not, and that's okay. You step away, but it will never be the defining point, because toxic personalities don't have political affiliations. It's a personality trait that sucks, and we all are related to people like that. So whatever your reason is, I would never let my politics be the reason I don't show up to see my family, because they won't.
Okay, you know what? Like, I'm not totally buying this. I'm really not. I mean, there's suddenly like, oh yeah, we're all fine. We're one big happy family. We listen to one of the ladies say, oh yeah, I'm friends with everyone. No, you're not. You're not. What have we been through the last 4 years? But cancel culture on steroids. It was fine to effectively spit in the face of somebody that was voting for Trump. I mean, for goodness darn sake, what did the former president of the United States? I was going to play it for you, but I don't have it. I think I already flushed it. This is Biden talking about how half the country are nothing but a bunch of pieces of garbage. I mean, he called half the country garbage. Let me tell you, there was no getting along with everyone. That was something that the left pushed forward over and over and over again. And now we're here dealing with the aftermath being a landslide for Donald Trump. So that landslide for Donald Trump tells you something. It tells the ladies on The View that they better wake up if they want to continue to have jobs. Well, the smart ones, that is. And then there's, people like Sonny.
I really do feel that this candidate, President-elect Trump, is just a different type of candidate. From the things he's said and the things he's done and the things he will do, it's more of a moral issue for me. And I think it's more of a moral issue for other people. We're just, I would say it was different when, let's say, Bush got elected. You may not have agreed with his policies, but you didn't feel like he was a deeply flawed person, deeply flawed by character, deeply flawed in morality.
A lot of Dems called him deeply flawed and
time.
humanized him.
But you got to admit, they're very different figures. I mean, you along with Milley and along with John Kelly warned us about how deeply flawed he was as a candidate. And so I think when people...
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know what? She's going to double down on her hate. Joy Reid is going to double down on her hate. And I have a prediction. The ratings are going to get worse.